Hello there, YouTube viewers. My name's Stuey, and I'm going to give you the breakdown of the rule set for FMDL 2013. Now, the actual rule set I'm going to touch base on today is the rule set that we're going to use for tournament basis over personal records. So it's going to be mainly for the 2013 rules. First thing you'll need before we even go into FMDL is you will need to obtain the new FMDL sponsor box. Now, we don't actually have a sponsor for the event, but we're using the number box or the team box. So as you can see on the screen, we've got a new box. We've changed the logos from a red and silver to a goldy orange colour, and as you can see there, with the teams on paint on the screen, we've put the XE logo in. I'll touch base on where you can actually obtain that from later, but obviously it's going to be on the storefront. Before we actually start any of the other kind of synopsis of the rules, FMDL this year is going to have like a no tolerance kind of ethos, in which any drama that's going to be erupted from the battles needs to be dealt with inside the lobby rather than actually taken onto the forums. I mean, we're all mature drifters, so any issues can be dealt with, and judges should not have to sit there taking insults from poorly behaved teammates or evil dwellers, because at the end of the day the judges are decided by both teams, so any call is unbiased because you chose the judges, and it's non-negotiable because you should agree with the judges. So it looks like on my screen here my storefront derped. So to obtain the actual sponsor box itself, you need to type it in on the search FMDL 2013 box or XE Stuey, or if you're friends with me you can just go on my storefront and obtain it that way. So, going for the, let's give you a breakdown of the rules. So, the car build, the horsepower cap is 650 horsepower, so you can have 650. The game does round up to 651 on telemetry in some cases, but you can have a 650 cap. For the tournament only, we're going to keep it strictly S-Class. I know some A-Class cars are better than S-Class, some muscle cars and stuff, or lower horsepower cars, but we're going to keep it S-Class because it's very competitive, and we just feel like that's the best kind of overall class for the average drifter. No race slicks, so anything up to kind of sport tyres. You don't want race slicks or drag tyres. They're just deemed as illegal and not very good for the drifting aspect itself. So, bleh. Tuning rules. No positive camber on the front tyres. That's the kind of only rule we have in regards to tuning. Some people think it gives an unfair advantage, or it just allows you to have a little bit more angle, or however you guys want to argue a toss about it. At the end of the day, it's banned from FMDR. So you can have 0 camber, that's allowed, but you cannot have negative camber. Also, for this year, the tournament, and for tournament use only, we'll be using a 3 judge corner rule set and an additional spectate judge. So you're going to have the usual 3 guys that you'd have in the lobby, so 3 judges, but you're also going to have a spectate judge. Now that spectate judge itself is not going to be a 4th call, so you're not going to have 4 calls, you're going to have 3 calls, and the judges can talk to the spectate judge to get some clarification on their calls, or if the spectate judge feels that he needs to bring something to the table, he goes, hang on, I think you've got that wrong there. The judges can actually discuss away from the drifters, come up with an overall run, and then just give that to the drifters. Now, the judging criteria is going to be gap, angle, line, clip and point, speed, all that malark. And these points must be judged on each corner. So I strongly suggest all the judges keep a checklist, because you're going to want to give a good synopsis to the drifters. You're going to want to tell them what they've done good on. Gap is judged. If you're lagging, tough shit. I don't really care about your connection. Also, if you're too slow or he's too fast, I don't really care. Providing he's matching your angle and he's pulling away from you, or you're on someone's door, that's judgeable. It's drifting at the end of the day. You're on his door. It's impressive. So gap is judged. Spin outs and stall outs. The spin out and stall rule only kind of complies for turns that are 50% underneath the run. So if 2/3 of the corners can be judged, the spin out or stall goes against the drifter for the final turn. But if it's under 50%, then you can do a redo. So if you spin out after, let's say, the second corner, That's it. Run over. It's tough. It's against you. It's a drift battle. Deal with it. So that is the basis of it. If you spin out before, however, you can get 2 redos per person per round. So after that, the person who didn't spin out can take the run. It's just the way it is. The 50 roll. It's an obvious one. Most competitions do have a 50 roll or a speed limit. We've got a 50 roll, and the 50 roll allows drifters to keep maintain like an average speed coming into like just before the first turn. So we've got a 50 roll. Anything below that is a fail. You know, you're too slow or too fast. There's also a no overtaking zone. So between the 50 roll and the first judgeable corner, you can't just sit there overtaking the guy on the first turn or just before it, because at the end of the day, you're just overtaking them before you're even being judged. It's not even a run. You know, it's very awkward. It's very awkward for a lot of drifters as well. If you just get overtaken before you even get into the first turn, that's not really drifting. You've just overtaken someone. You managed to get quicker off the line on a 50 roll, and you managed to overtake them before the drift's even initiated. It's a bit pointless. Moving on with the actual rule set now we're going to touch base on clipping point. Now, the clipping point is going to remain as the white line. If there isn't a white line present, the clipping point will then become the edge of the rumble strip. For some tracks, we are going to allow the clipping point we're going to allow the drifter to run some of the rumble strips, and that one, the main focus for that will be Iberian Mini, because I feel that the rumble strips aren't too bad. We do like to keep people off the rumble strips, but they do make for a more entertaining drift battle actually using slight rumble strips on that track itself. Again, for tournament use, that's how it's going to be. You guys can argue all you want, I don't really care, but at the end of the day, that's how we're going to run it. The tyre drop rule. 2 or more tyres in the dirt is considered a tyre drop, or a dirt drop. Therefore, the call for clipping point in the battle must not be given to that drifter. However, you can still judge it on speed and angle, so I stress that judges don't just deprive a drifter of the whole turn due to a dirt drop. The only tyre in dirt that's allowed is like 1 tyre. So you can only call out inside clipping point from the next available tyre. So, for instance, if you dropped a front tyre onto like the rumble strip or dirt, that tyre is then off the track. If that tyre then comes back on the track, you can't just sit there and judge that actual tyre, because it's actually classed as off the track. If it comes back on, it's still classed as off. So you need to use the next closest tyre available. The actual battle lobbies are going to be 4 judges, of which 3 of them are corner, 1 spectate, and then we're going to have 2 team representatives from each team. So you're going to have 2 guys from XE, 2 guys from JSI, for example, 4 judges. 3 of them are going to be in the lobby, and 1 of them is going to spectate. We feel that having 8 people is just inadequate enough to stop all the moaning about lag. We know the game's built for 16 players, but it's always been an 8-man lobby. That's how it's going to stay. If you have any questions about the FMDL rules, feel free to drop me a comment. Also, rate, like, subscribe, and you will have more videos and stuff. Cheers, guys.